Isla Gordon may have won the championship, but I think the real story of Running Point is just beginning. Because in recent days, some places online have started saying that the show's third season is not guaranteed, and that Netflix may not continue it. But let me be honest, I do not really believe that. In fact, the opposite. Everything we have right now makes me think Running Point Season 3 is almost inevitable, especially because the Season 2 finale is basically screaming, the big conflict of Season 3 is coming. And honestly, after watching the second season, I am definitely one of the people who really wants this show to continue. I liked the first season, but the second season was on a completely different level for me. It actually became one of the most entertaining, sweetest, and best-feeling comedy shows I have watched recently. Because of this channel, I watch a lot of movies and shows, especially because I am constantly looking for what kind of content I can make videos about. But Running Point Season 2 was easily one of the comedy projects I enjoyed the most. Netflix has not officially announced a third season yet, but showrunner David Stassen's comments are pretty hopeful. Stassen said that Netflix has not officially approved Season 3 yet, but everyone is optimistic. The most important detail is that Netflix has ordered a writer's room for a potential third season. This does not mean an official renewal, but it is a very strong sign that preparations are starting behind the scenes for the show to continue. Netflix taking a step like this is not surprising anyway, because Running Point showed a good viewing performance with its second season. The second season had a strong start on the Netflix top 10 list and became one of the platform's most talked about comedy projects, especially in its first weeks. In fact, the fact that the first season also re-entered the global top 10 list in some weeks alongside the second season is a very important detail. I think this shows the real strength of the show, because it is not just the new season being watched. When people see the second season, they also go back and check out the first season. And I find that very normal, because when I watched the first season, I liked it, but I did not connect to it as much as I did with the second season. After watching the second season, my view of the show changed. It even makes you want to go back and rewatch the character dynamics from the first season, and that is exactly the kind of effect Netflix would want to see. Of course, some sources are also saying that Season 2's opening numbers were lower compared to Season 1. The first season had a stronger first week, while the second season opened a little lower, but I do not think this is a major problem by itself. Because in recent years, seeing viewership drops between seasons of Netflix shows has become very normal. The important thing is that the show still stayed in the top 10, remained a topic of discussion, and even brought the older season back onto the list. On top of that, Running Point is not a massive budget fantasy or action show that is extremely risky for Netflix. It is a half-hour comedy format, with star power, but also something that looks sustainable. It has a strong lead like Hudson, Mindy Kaling's creative influence, and a warm response from viewers. That is why I do not think Netflix would easily let go of a show like this. On the story side, the biggest setup for the third season was already made in the Season 2 finale. Isla Gordon wins 2 major victories by the end of the season. On one side, she pushes Cam away from the Los Angeles Waves, and on the other side, the team beats Boston and becomes champion. So from the outside, Isla looks like she is at the top now. But right at this point, Cam's new move changes everything. Cam brings back a new basketball team called Los Angeles Industry together with Al Fleischman. I think this is a perfect conflict setup for the third season, because now the issue is not just a power struggle inside the family. Now there will be 2 teams in the same city, 2 brands, 2 management styles, and 2 different family wars. While the Waves seem like the owners of the city, Industry will come in and disrupt that order. At this point, the main issue of the third season will most likely be control of basketball in Los Angeles. Cam and his new team will try to take the Waves' fans, sponsors, players, advertising deals, and media attention. So Isla is not only facing an annoying brother, she is facing a real rival organization trying to tear apart the system she built. I think this is a very good direction, because one of the best working parts of the second season was the family rivalry. The Gordon family getting angry at each other, sabotaging each other, but still being unable to fully break away from each other made the show very entertaining. Especially the scenes where they played basketball together and beat the other side were really sweet. I have not watched a comedy show with such warm and fun family dynamics in a long time. In the third season, this family rivalry could grow even more. Cam will no longer be someone causing problems from the inside, he will be attacking from the outside. And that means a much harder test for Isla, because Cam knows his family, the structure of the Waves, and Isla's weak spots very well. So the new team will not only be a business rival, it will also be a personal and emotional threat. Jay's situation also becomes very interesting here. If Jay really becomes the coach of Cam's new team, this would not only be a professional problem for Isla, it would also be a personal blow. In the second season, the relationship between Jay and Isla was already at an important point. If the third season puts this relationship right in the middle of the rivalry, the show could create a much stronger story on both the comedy and drama sides. One of my biggest expectations from the third season is also seeing more wild and ridiculous characters with the new basketball team. In the first season, dealing with the players' problems was really entertaining. The weird personalities inside the team, ego-driven players, and stars who caused crises fed the comedy side of the show very well. The second season focused more on the family side, and I think that worked really well. But if the third season combines these two sides, the show could become even more fun. So on one side, there could be a city war between Cam and Isla, and on the other side, new players, new coaches, new transfer crises, sponsor fights, and media chaos. I think what Running Point can do best is exactly this: combine the exaggerated egos of the sports world with family comedy. If the third season balances this well, it could become the funniest season of the show. Ray Romano's character, Norm Stinson, could also come forward more in the third season. In the second season, the new coach dynamic brought a different energy to the show. If the third season explores the pressure on the Waves after the championship, the threat of the new rival team, and Norm's relationship with the players more deeply, some very funny scenes could come out of that. It would also be good to use more absurd characters like Benny more in the third season, because Running Point's comedy does not come only from jokes, it comes from the strange energy of the characters. Everyone is a little problematic, everyone is a little too confident, and everyone thinks they are right in their own world. That is what creates the show's chaotic but lovable atmosphere. There are also cameo possibilities. There is talk that Mindy Kaling could appear in the show in a small role. There have also been questions about whether names from Kate Hudson's family, like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, could join as guest stars. These are not confirmed details, but if they happen, they could be very fun surprises for the third season. Especially in a show this warm and full of family energy. These kinds of guest appearances would work very well. On the release date side, since there is no official renewal yet, there is no clear date. But because the wait between the first two seasons was around 14 months, if Netflix approves the third season soon, it could be possible to see the new season around the summer of 2027. Of course, this depends completely on the production schedule and Netflix's announcement timing. But the fact that Running Point does not seem like one of those Netflix shows that takes long multi-year breaks is a big advantage. In the end, even though Running Point Season 3 has not been officially announced yet, all the signs we have point to a very strong chance of another season. The Netflix Top 10 performance, the first season returning to the list, the writer's room development, and the big Cam Isla rivalry set up in the Season 2 finale all support this. As someone who really loved the second season, I am pretty excited for the third season. If the new season brings together the family war, the Los Angeles basketball rivalry, and even crazier player characters, Running Point could enter its most entertaining era yet in Season 3. So, are you ready for this big war? Will Isla Gordon's kingdom be destroyed by her brother Cam's sneaky move, or will Isla prove to the entire world that she is a real executive? Have you picked your side, Waves or the new rival industry? Please share your predictions and expectations for Season 3 with me in the comments below. I will read every single one of them. If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you do not miss developments like this from the world of movies and TV shows. See you in the next episode.